Hi, my name is Chala Prabhu. Today's session is on micro content. So, welcome everyone. In this session on micro content, we will explore how to create micro content using the Madcap Flare application. The goal is to give you a quick and yet comprehensive overview of its features, functionality, and capabilities to help you get started with micro content. There are three methods by which a micro content can be created, and I'll be demonstrating all the three ways by which you can view those output in HTML5 in the online help. And by the end of this session, you will understand how Madcap Flare supports uh, micro content that is similar to the featured snippet and Google search engine. So in this illustration, I have given a search query called about artificial intelligence. If you look below, you will see there is an AI overview, there is show more, and also there's learn more. In these three categories, if you see, these are called as a featured snippet. So even Madcap Flare also uses the same name called featured snippet and micro content because they are because they are a small chunk of information. So mostly why Madcap Flare wanted to use this micro content is for field level help, which means that whenever you go to any field and there is some extra information that you would like to know about that particular field, in that particular dialog box, you can just click on that and get the information relevant to that particular field. I'll show you a small demonstration on this. For example, in this Madcap Flare application, I click on File, I come to Options. If you look at this Options dialog box, you'll feel there are some extra blue color indicators on the right of each and every field. So, for example, if I say import Excel files without MS Office and click on that blue mark, it shows something called having Microsoft Excel installed is recommended. So when importing without Excel installed, some differences in content conversion may occur. This particular information which is there will be supplemented by micro content in the future. So what is the objective about introduction to micro content? Micro content consists of a short reusable text or multimedia elements that provide direct response to user's query. So when a user enters a query, it actually goes and fetches whether any relevant micro content is available. If it is there, it will quickly populate on the screen. Enhances the searchable and accessibility of information and improves user engagement with quick and precise content. So it is mandatory that your phrases and response need to be very well thought of before you even actually start creating micro content, because micro content phrases are very small. They are not a paragraph or very more than 10 words. It's going to be just hardly 2 words. So based on that particular 2 words, your search engine is going to just fetch and retrieve those data for you in the form of a feature content. So when I say it enhances the searchability and accessibility of information, it means such as a search engine can fetch the snippet, chatbot responses, or quick help pop-ups. So these are very information which are really necessary when the user tries to interact. Where based on the query that he gives, I said like it is a few words, then the matching information or a suggested response needs to come quickly so that the user gets the right information at the right time. For example, search engine, when it uses snippets, is going to be a one-way communication. For chat responses, it's going to be a two-way communication, and quick help pop-ups is going to be field level pop-ups for adding more information to that particular field. So as I mentioned before, what is the uses of micro content? So someone says that, okay, so I also have snippet with me, also have micro content, also have a variable with me. So they're all different types of content which are reusable. But how is it micro content different? Because micro content also uses a search engine, okay, Madcap search engine. So what here is, we'll say that search engine results optimization. The moment you give some query in the search box, the search engine is going to retrieve that particular information. So the optimized result is going to be retrieved, which matches closely to that particular phrase. Second is for chatbot and virtual assistant responses. As we see that every application has got a virtual assistant integrated in that application. So whenever you come and open an application, a virtual assistant also comes along with it to help you to understand that particular application, or helps you guide in completing your task. So if you have any queries, you can just type that in the virtual assistant and it will respond to you with the appropriate and relevant information for you to complete the task. Frequently asked section. So if is for business process outsourcing companies, if they want to have some FAQ questions that are quite frequently asked, yes, my micro content will be a very good option for them to use. Knowledge-based quick access, because there are a lot of experienced people around, and the number of years of experience that I have put in that particular project, and at various iterations of the various releases of the product, one could actually create their own knowledge base, and then they can put that in micro content. So this could be as a knowledge pane, which I could probably tell you in the next few slides later. And you can also have a feature snippet as well as a knowledge pane, and also a few proxies associated with micro content, so that it will be very helpful for you to get more information, and which is also the current trend today in documentation needs. Interactive help systems, as I said, that people wanted to want to have more interactive to the application. They don't want to have a very static information. For example, like if I go and search for some information, because there may be several people who have also requested for that, but there may be also n number of ways that a particular problem could be solved. So if if the question is being asked, so then what happens is all this information gets aggregated, and then the user gets the several ways by which he could resolve that particular issues, or could build their own domain knowledge using interactive help systems. So I said that as per the output of supporting micro content, it is going to be on HTML5. Okay, because most of the people have already started using web browser and online health systems. So the people still use print solutions, but then most of them, because of the connectionless devices and various different layouts of devices, people who started preferring to use HTML5. So micro content is primarily supported in HTML5 based outputs. It can be embedded in search functionality within the web based documentation. So which means, like, if I create a micro content, and if you view that in online help, it give you a similar feeling like you are working as a feature snippet in Google. So that's how it has been made, so close that both look quite identical. It enhances structured authoring for online help system. So your effort is still the same. The whatever reusable component that you are trying to use in your topics, or in the Flare topics or files, they are all going to use still the capabilities and features of Madcap Flare. But at the same time, they are going to also maintain the structured authoring, which is the standard for topic-based authoring in Madcap Flare. So micro content also supports the proxies. When I say proxies, it is like we have to think like a containers. Okay, so Madcap has introduced them, because why is you need not necessarily have to work only on a topic. You create a topic and then open the topic and start working on it. You can also work on proxies using templates. I would like to reiterate here that for those who are hearing this term called template now, earlier it was called as master pages. Now we are calling it as template. So template is there are three things that makes a project complete. One is a topic, template, and page layout. Okay, or probably the targets. So if I want to make a document, or if I deliver a project, then I have to have a topic where I would be using all the capabilities and features that are available for me in the Flare application. Then I'll also use a template, because that would be probably the standard for page numbers or any other things that come with the branding and all the stuff with the company request. And third is the target, means like how you want that particular deliverables to be, whether in print output or whether in online or whether it's a PDF, or there are n number of ways that you could deliver output. So these are the three things that are going to be combined together when you deliver a project. But the page layout is also going to be a very crucial part because you're going to use the page numbering and things like that, and template is going to be how you're going to use those proxies, how you're going to use the proxies in micro content. The proxies act as a placeholders for dynamically inserting micro content, which means that whenever you want certain things, for example, if I want to have a breadcrumb, which I want to say that it shows me the workflow or the way I've reached a particular topic, and if you want the path, how I came there, I'm going to use a breadcrumb. Like similarly, I'm going to use a placeholder where I'm going to use proxies in my template file. Think proxies as a container because that allow better structure and categorization of micro content element. Okay, and then help in maintaining consistency across documents. So these are very important. So if I want to have a footer and it's going to take a H1 for example, H1 is a style sheet that's going to be used across all the pages that's going to follow, then those are considered to be consistency, so that there won't be any error and you will maintain a sort of regular documentation standards. So here in search results and flare topics. So here I'm saying that the search queries return more relevant results with micro content. So when suppose if I have a full project, I can tell micro content. I can tell the project. I can go to the search engine, online search engine, give a query, and tell that either you could search for this term in the whole project, or you could probably say that okay, these are the three topics, and if that particular term matches within these three topics, then you can just probably show that in the output as a featured feature snippet or as a micro content. So you can specifically tell that in the search results. That could be actually done in the target where you can say like okay, which are the topics that you want to see whether this particular term is occurring. In case if it is not occurring these three topics, you very well can ignore it. And if you want to have this search term to match across any terms, we match across any topics within the whole project, then you can tell that how many topics you want to associate with other particular search terms. So these are certain way by which you can customize and say that okay, user can access a concise answer before opening the full topics. So you can just say that okay, like I have 20 topics, but I want this search term to match for only if it occurs in these three topics, and if it's not there, you show me other, ignore me. Okay, that's a very important thing. So here we are coming here I'm going to demonstrate how to create a micro content, right? What are the steps to create a micro content file? So open Madcap flare, that's of course. Then second is navigate to the project organization. So you have to know whether it is Content Explorer or project organization. This is very important because if you are planning to write any of your certification in Madcap flare, you have to be very clear what are those which are available in the project organization and what are the particular folders that are available in the Content Explorer. Okay, and you should also know what are the options that are available in the options and file options, the variable set, the variable text, the variable tags. Similarly for snippet conditions, snippet text, snippet variables. So these are certain things where you have to know where they are available. So here micro content is there in the project organizer. You right click on the micro content and select add micro content file. So remember micro content is a file. Okay, so and then name the file appropriately and click OK. The file appears in the micro content folder. Okay, let me show you how it works. I'm in Madcap flare now, so I'm in Content Explorer. So what I was saying before, like is, whenever you go to project organization or Content Explorer, just see what are the resources that are available for you. Where is the resource? For example, if someone says, where is the micro content, where is the page layout, where is snippets, where is style sheets, where is table style sheet, you should know that it is in the Content Explorer, because these are certain questions that may likely come to you if you want to get yourself certified. Similarly, if I say that if I come to a product and then say what is there in the reports, where is the reports, where is the skin, where is the glossary, and conditional text, you must know that it is under project organizer. Okay, now we'll come to Content Explorer, and then I'll create a micro content. The micro content is already created, is there in the folder. So I will just remove this. I'll just delete it. Okay, now I'll right click on the resource, come to new, create a folder. Always create a folder. That is one of the best practices. I've created a micro content. I'll right click it, then I'll come and say create a micro content. I'll give a name. I'll give it as Madcap, so that it'll be easy for you to know that this is a Microsoft. This is one of the content that we have created in this presentation. So if I click on micro content, you will say Madcap there. And the file name extension is a Flare FLM, and micro content is MCO. So you will know that by looking at the file name, you can quickly recognize what file type it is. Now you know that this is a editor for micro content. So you have the micro search here, because so that if you want, you can search and find out the relevant phrases that is available in this. If you're not, if your micro content files and phrases are too lengthier, or the number of entries are more. And similarly, on the right hand side is the micro content. So here, this is by default, this content is there. So as I mentioned before, this is a way you try to create a micro content. Okay. Now phrases and alternate phrases. So I'm going to explain the concept of phrases and alternate phrases, and show how to create links and content references. This is what I'm going to demonstrate for you. So now the second one is how to create a micro content file. I said I created the micro content by opening the Madcap Flare and then right clicking and creating that file. Now I'm going to click add phrase and enter a keyword or question. So your phrase could be a keyword. For example, I said it can be a 2-word, or it could be a question. Okay, so that whenever someone goes into the online help and enters that particular question, he would get the relevant, he will get the topic. What topic? Based on what I have provided in the phrase. So then add an alternate phrase for variation in user query. Now what does it actually mean is usually, like suppose, I'll take an example of the variable itself. So I can have one variable which is called user manual, okay. But the alternate variable is, I also wanted to type installation guide, and then the maintenance guide, then software specification, and many other guides. But the variable will be the same. That means the phrase will be the same. Phrase will be manual, but the alternate phrases will be like user manual and many other things, but all related to one thing, to the same phrase. Link the phrase to a topic or a snippet. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to link this particular phrase to a topic in my project, or I could probably link it to a snippet. So whenever you go and type this, whenever you go and type any content in the search engine or the online help, you will get this particular topic on the screen. So this will be similar to the way I've shown you earlier, how Google shows you as a feature snippet, and then snippet and words. And then you click save. Now I'll show you how it works. Now here, if you see, this is toolbar on the top. On the first toolbar says it is add a phrase. Second, it says add an alternate phrase. And third one is link the phrase to a file. Which means that once I create a phrase, for example, I'll create a phrase by name. I'll create a micro meta. I'm getting this so that you, okay. now I have created this. I also want to create, I just want to expand it. So I'll click this, I get a link. So here I can delete a phrase. I can just select to add a variable as a phrase. If I don't want to type micro meta here and I want to associate a variable here as a name, then I could also do that. It's not going to be any difficult. So for example, if I click on this phrase, I'm going to get the top. Okay, so these are the phrases which I have. So I can associate any of that here. For example, if I just click this on phone number, I'll change it later on. See, it says a meta per set phone number. So that's not the one which you want, but I'm just showing how you can associate a variable with a variable or a phrase to the micro content. Now I've got this. Now, since the add link, I'm going to add this link to the topics that I need. For example, I go getting started and okay. This is a getting started file. Okay. Now in case it says as introduction topic getting started. If I save this file, if I save this file and just go and type this phrase a meta post up there, I'll get getting started as a response in the online help. Just one way. So out of the three ways which I said, this one way. So entering responses directly in the editor. So how to enter a response directly in the Microsoft editor. So this will be the one which I'll be demonstrating you to now. The first one was I was adding to a topic. Second now is I'm going to show you how to add a response. Now I'll add a phrase here. But now I can directly come here. I can directly come and start typing here. I can directly come and say introduction. So if I go there and type meta percept 1, I'll get this particular response introduction. So you'll be seeing that as a search result, and this is the second way of doing it. I'll just save this for. And what is the third way? Third way is you are going to create a third way. Let me go and see what is the next one. So the next one is I'm linking phrases to a bookmark. The first one I linked it to the topic. Second, I directly edited in the content, micro content, and third is I'm going to link it to the bookmark. So what is this bookmark here is you're not going to physically go and position your cursor and mark that particular content as a bookmark location, but you are going to rely on the style sheet. For example, the H1, H2, H3 style sheets, and whichever you want, you just go and select that particular thing. But it is recommended that if you have a bookmark which you want to associate mostly at the end of almost the end of the document. For example, if there is a section or heading 2 at the almost at the end of the document, that would be good because there won't be any other content that follows after that particular section. But in case you go and bookmark or something in the middle of the document, then what happens is the search engine, online search engine, will give you that particular exact location, but thereafter you'll still be able to scroll to the rest of the documents to know the content. So let me show you a demonstration about how to create the bookmark. Now here I've got a meta post one. Now I'll go add a link. Now if you see here, I get the similar thing like the first one when I linked it to the topic. But the linking to the bookmark is also the same. It also shows me the list of all the topics that I have, and these are all the topics that are on the project. Okay. So now what I do is I just come and click here. Click this is the bookmark. So I'll click on getting started, then click on bookmark. So when I do this, what happened? I know there is one particular bookmark by name getting started itself. So if you go and select on that and then say OK, now I've got link to the bookmark. And I've got link to the bookmark. Okay. So this is how it. So you got this here. It says that getting started # top. and this called, the other one is called getting started.htm. The first one that you have is called the first one is to the topic, and the second one I said how to directly go and type into in the editor itself, and the third one I showed you how to link to the bookmark. That's also another way by which you can do. You can right click on micro content. You can come here, say new file, and then say that you want to create a micro content file. Okay, then you can say add and open. Here you can come and type. Here you can come and type the content, or you can say you want to move some images here. Okay, now you can save this file. This is what is micro content. You can just go and rename this and then save it. Okay, now if you come to micro, if you come here, then you have this particular new file. Because this other way of doing, you can do n number of ways you want, but only thing I want to show is, if I go and generate this file, if I go to a project, then build this file, what is micro content or something. You can go and type in the search index and see the matching online help. Now we'll talk about the proxy. Okay. So what is proxy here? So here the proxies are placeholders that display micro content dynamically. As I mentioned before, there are the 3-4 proxies which are available. You can just put in one of these proxies, and then you can, at the runtime, they take the information from the topics available in the project folder and then populate it accordingly. Okay. The second is used for inserting reusable content across various topics. Like for example, I said if I want to have a copyright message in one place and want to have that particular thing to be repeated across the n number of pages that I want to view, then I could have this particular reusable component that appears in all the pages. They help maintain uniformity and efficiency. That's what we saw. There has to be some consistency in the way we use. Okay. For example, we should not copy or we should not duplicate. We have to see that that particular field information that we are giving is actually taking the right information at the runtime. For example, if I say that if I have a heading 1 which I've given for say for a topic called about proxy, and suddenly what happens is, because the contents are more in the previous section, this particular section on proxy goes to a different page number. So in that case, what happens? This particular reusable component should track that particular change in the page number and see that there is uniformity and integrity in that particular page numbering. Otherwise, what will happen is the page number will be the old page number and the content will be in the different page. But probably the content will be in the page 5, and because it is not updating the particular field content, the page number, the output will be different. Okay, so that's the way. So I'll just show you how to where to use the proxies. Proxies we normally use it in the template. Okay, so for your kind information, I just tell you the proxy. So here, if you see, I'm in Content Explorer. In template page, there is a template called kalaprabhu.htm. I click that particular thing. Now if you see that there are some variables which I have entered in this, so all those text which are highlighted are variables that we are not concerned at this moment, but we are only concerned about the proxies that we wanted to enter in this. So where are the proxies? Proxies, insert, click on insert, then you come to the proxy here, and it gives you a proxy header and proxy footer. Okay, so the header and footer, like if you use this header on the top, relevant that are necessary for header can be activated for a page header, and for page footer you could probably specify what should be the chapter number, how the page number should be, what should be the page count, whether it should be 1 of 25, 2 of 25, or it should be just a Roman. So you can just specify all this details in page number 2. But if you want to use another proxy which is actually supported by content by this file, then you have to say micro content supports the last three. If you see, promotional proxy, knowledge proxy, and FAQ proxy. Okay, these are the three proxies that you could add in the template page. Then you associate the template page to your topic page, and finally what happens? Your output file, which is online help, will actually take the TOC, will take this particular template file, and also use the topic file, and combine all this together to generate an output for you. So this is very important. So you have to take that knowledge proxy, promotion proxy, and FAQ proxy. You have to click on this particular one on the top, and then you will get the list of all the proxy, and most probably you will be using only these three which I have shown below here. Okay, the rest is up to you. But micro content supports these three. The rest, like for example, that a relationship proxy and all that, is normally used when you create a topic. Okay. So now I'm back to the web page now, where I've actually showed you this feature snippet from Google that has showed me when I entered about artificial intelligence. Now this particular thing will be shown for you in the output now. On the right hand side is another column text, which is called as a knowledge pane or knowledge panel, whichever one you can tell. You can have this on the left hand side, or you can have it on the top. So it could be any way. So, but the question is, where are we going to set this? How are we going to get this? So this is done at the target editor level, which means at the runtime. Okay. So let me show you that. So I am in target. I'm in project organizer. HTML 5.0 is the primary. Now how do I know there is a primary? Like someone should be telling that, hey, why is it called a primary? Because whenever you go to the project, when I click on the project on the main menu and go to the properties, okay, under the defaults, forget about the, see, I'll tell the general is Flare project, fine, and the location is where that particular file is located. The project file is located in that particular location. Then then it shows what the size of it, when was it created, and when was it last modified. Probably if I modified now, it will update it. These are nothing but a metadata information of that particular project. But similarly, when I come to default, it is very important. Why? Because you may have 3-4 style sheets with you, you may have some documents, some files with you. You have to know properly whether those information will be taken at the runtime when the application is being built. For example, why I am making this? For example, I have skins. If you just look on the left hand side, I've got skins, CHS skins, or CHS skin 1 side navigation. Now in case if I'm generating an output where the skin is different, for example, here it is style sheet, okay, primary style sheet is styles. So let me go back and check the styles. I'll go to content, I'll go to style sheet. So here there are chella.css, metapercep.css, style.css. So if I come to the project file, I should specifically say which is my primary style sheet. If I have all the 4 styles in this particular micro content, which is the actual style sheet that I'm going to use in this particular topic or in this particular project. Then branding is, you may have a default branding which you might be using from the Madcap Flare. But if you have created a branding which is relevant to your client request, then you are going to add that particular branding here. You're going to create a branding style and going to add it here. The third one is page layout. I said, like, if page layout, I said that if you have a page layout, you have to associate that to this particular topic, right? For example, I've created a title page. Then I want to say that this particular topic will be the title page, and that will be the first page when I open the document. When I open the document, I'll see the title. I'll see that particular. I'll see that is a title page. Then later on, maybe the preface page and the table of contents, things like that. But I want to say this is the page layout that I'm going to use. File TOC is free. There are 2 table of contents I have. One table of contents which I actually use for an user manual. Meta password is something which I'm using for some other purpose. So I have to be very clear what is the which is the table of contents that I'm going to use. So that's why it is called as a project properties, which is under project tab, and that is called the primary style sheet. Okay, the primary is not just they have put it in the bracket. It is actually for you to know that that is the main style sheet that's going to be used for your project. We have deviated a little bit from this, but then I have to show you that where is that particular knowledge pane coming. Now here I have to come to the targets. Okay, I'll double click this. So when I double click this, what happens? It shows me a target editor. In this target editor, the first general is going to show me what is the primary TOC that I'm going to use, what is the browser sequence, what is the branding style, and again the primary style. So okay, all this information that you actually had in the project's property is the same as what you actually find here at the general also, because you may probably might have associated that in the project properties, but this particular project I want to generate for some other output based on some different style sheets and TOCs and other browser sequence and that many other things. Okay, so that's the way it is. And also you have the third as a startup topic, which is called as a content/home.html. So you have to know very clearly that whenever you go and click, whenever the output is the build is complete and you open it, you actually go to the home.html, because the home.html is the home.html is a file that you are going to that's a file that's going to be used by Madcap when you double click on the default.html. So now on the Content Explorer on the left, if you see right below the third one, home.html, okay, and then if you come in the target editor, it shows a /content/home.html. So this will be the start topic when the application is built. So why I'm saying this is, let me build this and tell you. So I built this particular project. Now if you see below, I've got a open output folder. When I click on that particular, when I click on that, it comes to this particular folder, which is, but I have only default, which is I call default file, which is one which I double click will take me to the startup screen. But actually it is the home.html, right? If I double click on there, it is going to redirect to home.html. Because I have given the startup file as home.html, which is there in the project file here. If you come to manage, you've got whole.hub here. So this is a file it is going to take. So this is called as the redirect mode. So we'll be talking about this in the context sensitive help, but it's very important, because please don't get worried, please don't get scared, or the where is that home.html is coming. It's actually there in your project file, but because you have got it as a startup topic in the target editor, when you build that particular this particular project, it actually creates this content, data, micro content, resources, screens, and default. The default is the actual file that is going to pick home.html to show you. Similarly, now I'm going to talk to you about going to demonstrate to you about where is that particular snippet going to come now. So here there is something you say called a search. Okay, this particular search, because anyway when you go to the online search after building, when you go to the online search, you are going to enter some terms in order to search for that particular phrase. So when you enter the phrase, the matching phrase will be opened as a feature snippet, and other information will be shown on the right hand side as a knowledge pane. So see here. So now I'm going to show you, when I come down here in this target, I've got called a feature pane. So this is called as this actually I'm going to tell them that, okay, all micro content files, if I have any files, if I am going to enter any term in that particular online search text box, It can go through all the micro content files and see whether there is any matching term and then bring it out. It also shows a limit, that is the page limit, a number of occurrences that it wants. You can tell, show me 4 occurrences. Now this finished. This is actually the featured snippet. There is a featured snippet session on the left hand side. So we have told that any term that is entered here in the search box, look into all the micro content file and show me this as a featured snippet, as how Google has shown. Similarly, you can also go and click on this button, which is actually in the control of skin, and you can see the rest of the details below. Now we are going to talk about the right hand side, which is called as the knowledge pane. So now below the feature snippet, we have knowledge panel. Remember, I'm doing this in the target editor under search tab, and when I come down, I get a feature snippet and knowledge panel. So here I go and say that, okay, you also search this for me and give me in all micro content or specific micro content files. When it says specific, then you can say what are the files that you want to specify. You can come and say which files you want. For this, then you can just go and say whichever one you want. Okay, so next time what happens is, only those terms in the search engine that matches these 2 files which are occurring in micro content FMP and also in metaperceptor1.fmp will be searched, and if there is any occurrence of anything, then it will show you on the right hand side on the knowledge pane. The knowledge panel is on the right hand side. Okay, remember that. And then the content which is there on the online search is a featured snippet. These are the 2 important things in micro content. So I hope you understood what is micro content. What are the 3 methods? The 3 methods, that is, micro content can be used by linking to the topic. Then you can link it to a bookmark, and third, you can edit it in the micro content editor itself. And third, then we had a demonstration on how to create the links, how to choose a bookmark from the topics, and so on. So finally, we also talked about the knowledge panel, the feature snippet section, which was where we provided details in the search tab of the target editor, and then we need to save and compile the file. Okay. So once you have provided all these details, you have to go and save all, then go and build the output. And so once the output is generated, then you can go and type in the term, some term in the search box, and that will retrieve the file accordingly, both in the knowledge panel as well as in the features department. That's come to the end of the session on micro content. I hope you enjoyed this session. Feel free to get in touch with the training at metapercept.com. If you have any queries, please approach the concerned person who will be in a position to help you out. For more information, contact training at metapercept.com. I hope you enjoyed this session.